And a lot of people are surprised that Shedeur Sanders, who people, during the college football season, many people speculated he'd go number 1. He's going number 7 in the mock draft of the New York Jets. And I was thinking about this morning. That's about where he should go. I think he's a good B-plus prospect. I think he's a good kid. He's accurate. But my favorite part about Shedeur Sanders it's not that his dad is Dion. It's not that he was one of the first guys that made big NIL money. Actually, my favorite part isn't his strength. He's really accurate. You want to know my favorite part of Shedeur Sanders? The last 2 years, he has been the most sacked college quarterback out of every single Power 5 school. Oh, it gets worse. In the last 2 years, he had the worst running game of any other quarterback in Power 5 conferences. This is Andy Dufresne escaping from Shawshank. This kid has been through a tunnel. Okay, this kid has swam through a tunnel of you know what. And there's a reason that there aren't a lot of great Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL. And not a lot of great Notre Dame quarterbacks, USC quarterbacks, Texas quarterbacks, Georgia quarterbacks. Why is that? Why is that? Yet Cal, the Golden Bears, have given us Goff and Aaron Rodgers. North Carolina State gave us Phillip Rivers, gave us Russell Wilson. Eastern Illinois gave us Garoppolo and Tony Romo. Why is that? Josh Allen's from Wyoming? Patrick Mahomes is from Texas Tech? Lamar Jackson from a basketball school, Louisville? Why is that? It's because of what Shedeur Sanders faced. A tunnel of crap. Is that the reality is when you go to an Ohio State, you take a three-step drop, hit a receiver, a 5-star receiver on a drag route, he goes for 48 yards. It's easy living. Go back to Matt Leinart at USC. How many times was he sacked? I mean, one year it was 11 times. It's not a real life that you'll face in the NFL, especially if you're a top 10 lottery pick. You go to bad teams and bad O-lines and bad receivers and often really bad coaches. That is why Big Ben didn't go to Ohio State. He was overlooked by them. Miami of Ohio. Drew Brees didn't go to Texas. He was overlooked by them. He went to Purdue. Mahomes. Cal. Shedeur Sanders has had to manufacture offense. And that's what happens in the NFL. Even if you're Patrick Mahomes, because you make so much money, you don't have an elite offensive left tackle. And you have to manufacture stuff because you have to let Tyreek Hill go. Philadelphia is an outlier. They pay the quarterback and they're loaded. The reality is in the NFL, if you're a top 10 quarterback, you usually go to a lousy roster or a really bad smell in the organization. And then once you do get paid, you're going to be limited on actually what they can put around you. I mean, that's the downside to being a lottery pick. But Shedeur Sanders, the most sacked quarterback, the worst running game, this kid's ready for it. It's not that his dad's Dion. It's not that he was the first NIL star or second. It's not that he's really accurate. He's lived a real life in the NFL. I mean, Caleb Williams, high school and college, everything was easy. He goes to Chicago, that's a real life. The coach, the coordinators, the roster, your O-line, the media's not in your corner. So I look at Shedeur Sanders, and I looked it up this morning, and he's 7th in Mel Kiper's draft. That's exact. By the way, if you look at the top 7 teams in the NFL draft, I could argue the Jets have the best roster. Going to fall a little? Oh, they got a number 1 receiver and a number 1 back, and they have a left tackle from Penn State, and they've got maybe the best corner or second best corner in the league, and they've got a top linebacker. Now, they got a new coaching staff, but I would argue falling in the draft to the Jets, it's a better roster than Tennessee or the Giants or Cleveland or the Raiders. So I looked up the composite rankings of Colorado that Shedeur Sanders played with. It was even with BYU, SMU, and Arizona State. And there are 2 quarterbacks in this draft that are ready to play day one, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. And the biggest reason is he's lived a real NFL life, running for his life, with no running game for 2 years and having to manufacture offense. J-Mac, you are very fired up. I would ask you where you got your tickets. Hopefully you had to pay for them. You didn't get freebies so you can relate to people. But and Shohei Ohtani and Lincoln Riley and Jim Harbaugh. A lot of stars coming to town, J-Mac. Tonight is going to be interesting. So Luka Doncic at home hosting the Mavs. You're going to officially see how awful this trade was. Luka's going to be inspired. He's going to be ticked off. And J.J. Redick and LeBron James are going to make sure he eats. They're going to feed him the ball all night. This is going to be the New York Giants against Saquon Barkley. This is going to be dinner with your ex, and she upgraded. You're going to be wondering, if you're Dallas, what was I thinking? Where did it all go wrong? It sets up to be a bloodbath, potentially, because Dallas, all their bigs are hurt, so Luka's going to score any way he wants. And I said this. If the Mavericks would have gotten Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and 3 first-round picks, I still wouldn't have made the deal. But he's hurt, conditioning. Maybe I'd sleep a little better at night. But giving him away for 1 pick for Anthony Davis, and he is not 26 years old yet. He's got 2 more days to be 25. And here's the thing. The thing I'm thinking about this morning. Yes, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles was a huge gaffe by Joe Shane, the Giants GM. But Saquon Barkley's a running back. They don't last forever. 32 years old, they can be out of the game. 33 years old, they retire soon. So you don't have to sit and watch this forever. Luka's 25. If he gets the conditioning right, he could be dropping 33 points a night for the next 14 years. And the other thing, he's in the Western Conference. So Luka could be keeping Dallas, because I actually like Dallas's roster. AD, Kyrie, their size, their coach. I actually like Dallas's roster. But there's a real opportunity here for the Lakers to bounce the Mavericks out for years. And this is a player that is just in 2 days turning 26. So years ago, about 15 straight years out of college, I used to have a dream that haunted me. And it may have lasted 20 years. And this thing woke me up in a sweat about 3 times a month. I had this dream that I was going to take a college final, and I wasn't prepared. And I had this dream all the time. And just think about it this way. Luka is advanced calculus, and the Mavericks, Nico Harrison, is going to spend the next 12 to 13 years waking up at least 2 to 3 times a month in a sweat. That's why, if you're going to trade Luka, you got to get assets. You got to get ammo. You got to get him out of your conference. He can't get in the way of keeping you from trophies. So tonight's the night. Dirk Nowitzki, previously in Dallas, their greatest player ever, he'll be here tonight, and he has been in L.A. several times to support Luka.
I felt a little disappointed and sad for him, I think he obviously didn't see this coming. So he invited me to come out to his first game in L.A., and I felt like I had to support him. It was reported that he was pretty obviously down and disappointed how it went down, and so I wanted to be there for him. I wanted to be there for his family and show support. It was weird. It was surreal to see him play for the Lakers, and so at the end of the day, I'll never be a Lakers fan, but I'll always be a Luka fan.
Tonight is a spectacle. We've been lucky in Los Angeles. We've just had big coaches and, Stafford to town and Harbaugh to town, and Shohei moves up the I-5, and here comes Freddie Freeman from Atlanta, and here comes Mookie Betts, and now it's Luka in our lap and facing his Mavericks hobbling into town tonight. Can't wait. So Mel Kiper, maybe you've heard of him, has a big mock draft, and he released it today.